Welcome to this session. Good afternoon. This workshop, FDP on curriculum design and development, job-related competencies. It's very important and very relevant in the present context. So I shall be taking up the session on outcome-based curriculum design and implementation. And my request would be, please let us make it an interactive session. Wherever you want to ask anything, please stop me and I will be happy to respond to your queries. The takeaway of this session will be, what are the features of outcome-based curriculum? Then how to design outcome-based curriculum? What are the graduate attributes and learning outcomes? Then how graduate attributes help to design outcome-based curriculum and incorporating 21st century employability skills in the curriculum. How can they be incorporated? And then how the outcome-based curriculum can be implemented in the college or in the university. We are all aware that job-related core competency required by every student are communication and collaboration, critical thinking and problem solving, creativity and imagination, being good citizen, self-confident, having digital literacy, and lifelong learner, learning to learn. Now, these are the requirements that every student need to imbibe and demonstrate. How can these be done in the class? How can they be student be prepared with these competencies and face the world? Now, the adoption of the appropriate technology, appropriate teaching learning process, relevant subjects, learning area, what to emphasize, curriculum design, how to design curriculum which imbibes these skills, the relevant source material like textbook, lesson plan, and other teaching learning material will be the vehicle through which the core competencies can be developed and experienced by the learners. Now, design and implementation of outcome-based curriculum make learning meaningful and provide opportunity to apply the competence to real-life situations and skills for lifelong learning. The reason I'm sharing it with you, our present system, though we are changing, our national NEP 2020 is emphasizing, has been always focusing on knowledge gain. The emphasis on other learning, such as acquiring skills, such as emotional health, were never emphasized among our students. Our teaching has been mainly textbook oriented. Now, this has not enabled our student to acquire the 21st century skills. You know that 21st century skills demands that student should be a critical thinker. He should be able to solve problem independently. He should be able to communicate. He should be able to understand. Communicate not only verbally, but in writing, graphically, and other means also. Then he should be a good collaborator, good team player, and he should be a creative. That means develop creativity in the students. These are the skills which are very much required in the student if if we are to progress, if we are to face the challenges of 21st century. Now, how can these skills be imbibed among the students? That's a big challenge for us, for institutions, for students, for teachers, all of us. And now this can be done by designing an appropriate curriculum and implementing it, following certain basic rules, following certain basic guidelines, thereby student becomes student centric. So modern approach to curriculum design is not the curriculum we have been following in our institutions has been traditional syllabus, some sports like that. We deliver them, we teach them, right? We never check that how much students learn. So modern approach to curriculum design is decide first what you want your student to learn and demonstrate on completion of the course. That means it is the responsibility of the faculty, responsibility of the institution to decide what the student learn, want what the student should learn. We decide. Then select course objectives which promote higher order thing. Then that means we design our curriculum like that. Now, in order that student imbibes the competencies which I mentioned earlier, that is problem solving skills, creativity, then we have to take our course which and put it in the format, deliver it and assess it, which achieves these things. And these knowledge we have to explicitly state that what student should be gaining as regard knowledge, what he should be learning, but as regard attitudes, behavior, and so on. So this means the goal of the present day teaching learning is not only to impart knowledge as we have been doing traditionally, but to ensure the student not only gains knowledge, but he develops skills, acquires attitude and behavior, whereby he can develop those competencies which are required in this age. And this can be done. Now, this can be done and has been, we may be late, maybe 10 years or 15 years late, but this in the Western world, this has been done with the help of outcome-based education processes and practices. Now, how we can train the student to gain these this kind of this kind of knowledge is when we implement outcome-based education. Now, outcome-based education enables to embed competencies and higher thinking in the curriculum. Now, if what we want to achieve is built into our curriculum emphasizes that our students will be good listen will have those attributes, no, the 21st century attributes. Then student will know about it beforehand, teachers will know beforehand, and it will be possible. And this is done with the help of outcome-based education approach. Now, outcome based, just to recall, some of you may have may be familiar with this, others may not be. For sake of completeness, I'm saying outcome based education model and says that institution the must have vision and mission. Institution should specify the program objectives. That means what student will do. Then institution should specify beforehand. These are also known as intended learning outcomes. What will be the program outcome? Program is BTech is a program, certificate is a program. Then it also specifies not only that, how to assess them. Assessment is not same for all kind of knowledge, for all kind of skills. So outcome-based education model is is let's say imposes on us the requirements of following a pattern of defining what the intended learning outcome of the student will be. How it can be done, this is what we are going to see, and this is how they can be embedded in a curriculum, and how curriculum is designed which follows this in order to achieve our goals. We will see this as we move along. Now, basic philosophy of outcome-based education is that we need to focus on these outcomes, the learning outcome of the student. Now, what are learning outcomes? Learning outcome are not only that student has scored 80%, learning outcomes are the student gain knowledge and he can demonstrate that. Student has gained skill and he can demonstrate that. Student has developed certain behavior and he can demonstrate that. So outcome is not same as output. Our traditional system have been emphasizing the output component, but outcome-based education says, no, you look at the outcomes. Outcomes consist as knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior. Now, they enable us, if we specify the outcome, they enable us what kind of curriculum should be designed. Now, did I recall? outcomes are intended outcomes. So it will now lead us how to design the curriculum. It will also help us to decide the instructional methods. What kind of methods, what kind of laboratories, what kind of lectures, presentations will be relevant to teach the student maybe different kind of topics. For example, mathematics cannot be taught in the same way as economics. So teaching instructional methodology are also are also decided by the kind of outcomes that we want. Then also the assessment. Assessment is very important for the progress of the student and for the learning of the student. Authentic assessment encourages the student, encourages authentic or realistic assessment in, makes student more confident. Now, these are all decided by the kind of outcomes that we decide beforehand, and these outcomes are intended outcomes. So outcome-based education emphasizes what we decide that what do you want the student to have, be able to do, learn, knowledge, skill, attitude, behavior. How can you best help students achieve it? That means we, as faculty members, as an institution, how can I help the student achieve this thing? In fact, student-centric delivery, student-centric approach. How will we know what they have achieved? That means our assessment and evaluation. Assessment and evaluation are two different things in the realm of outcome-based education. Assessment is collecting the data. Assessment and evaluation is analyzing and interpreting the data. So how will you collect data for different learning type of learning of the student? And how will you evaluate that? Then how do you demonstrate improvement? Then how we say demonstrating improvement is important in measurements and demonstrating that we are improving. These are the important, important issues which OBE says one has to satisfy. So when we design our curriculum, we will try to embed, we will try to see how to embed these aspects in the curriculum that we design. Now, the outcome-based education framework is a very elaborate and very detailed framework. And curriculum is one of the components. So in outcome-based education, we are always looking at what the student should be achieving it. What should he be gaining from the lectures, from the seminars. Then the curriculum, how to make the student achieve the outcomes. Then how to outcome-based learning teaching, how to measure what a student has achieved. Then outcome-based assessment. Then mean why a student cannot achieve the outcome. Supposing we had decided that student learning will be on this level or of this type or is this depth. Now, if the student has not learned it, this we find out with the help of assessment techniques. And if the student has not achieved it, then we are responsible to ensure that find out the reasons why student has not achieved this. Now, please appreciate these components of the outcome-based education framework because it looks at the point from the perspective of measuring and improving the student learning. Now, when I design my curriculum, these aspects need to be part of it. Now, what is the curriculum? Curriculum is not merely syllabus. Curriculum refers to the academic content, processes and practices by which students learn, gain knowledge, and develop skills under the auspices of the institute. Now, please appreciate that curriculum involves not only involves syllabus, it involves resources, it involves many other things which institute has to give. It involves syllabus, curricular, extracurricular activities which are required for developing the full potential of the student. And once we have how helps to design standards, then what resources are needed? What are the instructions, type of instructions to ensure student achievements? So attributes of a curriculum in the context of this is to be balanced. That means it promotes intellectual, moral, spiritual, aesthetic, creative, emotional, and physical development for the student, for all the student. And they are all important. Not only knowledge is important, knowledge is very important. So intellectual, moral, spiritual, aesthetic, creative, emotional, these are all important. So rigorous, the NEP also emphasizes value-based system. And these issues are already built. And then it should be rigorous. Seeks to develop seeks to develop interdisciplinary habits in mind. The subject matter is taught in a way that is faithful, that is relevant to the discipline. The coherent, yet the curriculum must be coherent, makes explicit connections and links between the different subjects, experiences, encountered. Because the student is learning not one subject only, there are many topics. He should be able to establish, and those topics should be connected with each other, should convey that teach the students in a coherent way. It should be appropriate. Looks to avoid making unreasonable demands by matching level of challenge to pupils' current level of maturity. For example, is you appropriate if they are BTech students or they are certificate students or they are, let's say, school students, it can be general ones. It should be a PhD level, it should be appropriate to the level the students are learning. Focused. Seeks to keep the curriculum manageable by teaching the most important knowledge, identify the big ideas or key concepts within the subject. Now, because simply taking a textbook and teaching will, I am aware many of my esteemed participants will be thinking, how is it possible? We are always under pressure to finish the syllabus. Yes, you are right. But when we are looking for the curriculum which makes a student a holistically developed and successful student, we need to apply our mind what are the good attributes of a curriculum. It should be relevant. Seeks to connect the valued outcomes of a curriculum to the pupil student being taught, provides opportunity for pupils to make informed choices. Now, this is important because this is how the student will do it. So outcomes of the implemented curriculum should be measurable. Measurable because outcome-based education says whatever you teach, whatever way you train the student, his learning should be measurable. So our measurements can be made with the help of outcome-based education methodology. So outcome-based curriculum designed according to OB pedagogy, where student outcomes, knowledge, skill, behavior, their assessment and continuous improvement are the objective. OB curriculum requires that the intended outcomes of the program be predefined, and this is an integral part of our NEP 2020, and UGC has already come out with a learner-centric curriculum framework, as it's called. So, when what we are discussing today, how to design a curriculum which is learner-centric and which yield us those things. So when I specify, when I design a curriculum, it should we clearly have some standards. Standards, and who decide the standard? Standards may be decided by agency, by some agencies like accreditation agencies or maybe certain regulatory agencies. So they're like say, what are students expected to know, understand, communicate, and apply as a result of their learning at various levels. Maybe at the school level, maybe college level, in the college level also, or university level, maybe certificate or maybe diploma and so on. Now then, how will student learning be demonstrated, assessed and evaluated? Now, this is what that means. That's what we have to indicate. What resources are available and required to support students in their learning, which means the facilities that we are offering, the institution offering, maybe in terms of laboratories, maybe in terms of playgrounds, maybe in terms of teaching and teaching learning material, faculty, and so on. So, what strategies will teacher and student use to teach and learn effectively? So, this is all a part of the curriculum that we design, that we prepare. Now, curriculum involves many elements from where student can learn. The learning of a student is not only in the class. Learning of a student from various sources. It may be self-learning, it may be a peer learning, it is a class learning, it is a and so on. So learning of the student comes from knowledge, the curriculum. So when I design the curriculum, I should take this into account. His self-learning. I should take into account his social skills. I take into account his communication skills, project experiences, digital, digital. Students are so, you are all aware, students are so glued to maybe YouTube or maybe WhatsApp or maybe Instagram and blah blah बहुत कुछ इन सब में कहीं ना कहीं लर्निंग है लैब में भी लर्निंग है so the curriculum involves many elements from the students can learn our curriculum should be such that we can find out the student learning from various sources so when I said assessment tools then assessment tools will be different for different type of learnings. So, curriculum design under outcome-based education puts the following constraints. Look at the vision and mission of the university, the college. Then, after having looked at it, decide the graduate attributes. Now, what are graduate attributes? Graduate attributes are the qualities of the student, characteristics of the students, which is the university or the college desires students should acquire. Now, that means the university or the college should define the graduate attributes. Now, graduate attributes, I'm just going to share with you. Then, from the graduate attributes, what is the significance of that? Why do we need them? Then, from there, we decide the objectives of the program because their program, as you know, have been explained already. A terminal degree, maybe BTech, certificate, or PhD, or B.Ed or BBA, they are programs. Now, what are the objectives of the program? What are the learning outcomes of the program? Now, what are the courses which will help us to achieve those program outcomes? There will be course learnings. All these things are required to be understood, are required to be considered while designing the curriculum. Or in other words, these, as we call them PEOs, program outcomes, course outcomes, and graduate attribute, they contribute toward the design of the curriculum. Now I'll give you a view. Now I'm going to explain to you all these things. What are these graduate attributes? Why do I need it? Because the graduate attributes are the abilities, knowledge, and skills that students should develop as a result of the education and learnings on completing a program of study. Now, please appreciate this is where we need to satisfy. We need to specify. University need to specify beforehand. Then comes the curriculum. Graduate also present the broad qualities that are necessary for students to contribute meaningfully to the society and country. Now, this is not only for about the learning, it is also how the student is trained, how the student is equipped to contribute to the welfare of the society. How we decide as to which students are expected to learn. That means if we want the student should be a lifelong learner, student should be a good engineer. How do we decide that? How do we decide as to what students are expected to learn, demonstrate, and achieve in life? Now, graduate attributes may be specified for science graduates, engineering graduates, medical graduates, and so on. So, graduate attributes help us specify the outcomes and achievement that we expect our students to acquire. Now, graduate attributes help us to design the curriculum. Please see here, see the connection. So, graduate attributes define that students are expected to learn and demonstrate. Outcome-based education processes and practices help to achieve the objectives and goals as incorporated in the graduate attributes. I repeat, see, graduate attributes, the graduate qualities are decided by the institution. So the curriculum is designed that whatever we have decided as graduate attributes enable us to design a curriculum to achieve what we want the student to acquire. So curriculum is designed as the requirements of the outcome, incorporating spirit of graduate attributes. So, now, why should I define graduate attributes? Graduate attributes focus on how students should be trained. Please see how the student should be trained. If you want a student to be critical thinker, if you want a student to be a good technician, if you want to be a student to be a good doctor or a good engineer, that means it will have certain attributes. Those are GS. So focus on graduate attributes. Students should be trained so that they develop an inquiring mind, be well-rounded individuals and dynamic professionals, grow as concerned citizens during their studies at the institute. Now, please see here, this is one aspect. Second aspect is, in the graduate attributes, we incorporate employability skills. How? Now, on this slide, on the right side, look at the graduate attributes that we want our students. If we want students should have good knowledge of the discipline, innovation should be innovation and problem solver. He should be good at design and developing solutions. He should be good modern tool uses. That means internet usage, application usage. He should care for the environment and sustainability. That means he should care for the society, for the nature, for the earth. He should be ethical. Should be a good team player and lifelong learner. This is what are the graduate attributes of that we wanted. Please see here. Now these attributes, they incorporate the employability skills. Now, what are the employability skills? Which are articulated by industry and society. Now, they are analytical and critical thinkers. They want those kind of students. They want problem solvers. And they are digitally literate and lifelong learner. They want growth and entrepreneurial mindset. These are the attributes which the industry wants. Now, keeping these in mind, we designed graduate attributes because these graduate attributes will be used to design our curriculum. Now, see here how we are porting the requirements of industry for our teaching purposes in the form of graduate attributes, in the form of student characteristics, student qualities. So, employability skills and graduate attributes are closely related, and once employability skills are properly expressed as graduate attributes, then these graduate attributes will help us design the curriculum. Now, see here, see, we want knowledge content, societal requirements, industry needs, global necessity, whatever you want, you express them as graduate attributes. Now, graduate attribute help to achieve the goals. OBE, graduate attribute, how do we have to achieve those? With the PO, that's how we just see that. So, society requirements, industry needs, and private sector are summed up as graduate attributes, which are then realized by outcome-based education approach, by outcome-based methodology. Just recall, teachers of diploma institutions, colleges, will say that IBM and NBA has specified the graduate attributes of diploma level students as 7: basic and discipline specific, problem solving, project management, lifelong learning, and so on. Right? Now, please appreciate the curriculum and education programs are designed to achieve these graduate attributes by expressing them as program outcomes, as POs can be assessed, measured, and achieved. Now, I repeat. See, graduate attributes, they incorporate the requirements of the industry, all those skills that I mentioned earlier. Now, the graduate attributes are used are satisfied by expressing them as program outcomes or outcomes, because outcomes are something which are measurable. Outcomes are measurable. Please appreciate this thing, as POs can be assessed, measured, and achieved. That's how we achieve it. So when I design my curriculum, I should see to it that the program outcome that I design, they are measurable. Just another example. NBA graduate attributes for the BTech students. Now see here, NB has specified 12. Out of these 12, you will notice that these first five, you will notice that first five, they are discipline. These are discipline, engineering knowledge, problem solving, design and development, conduct investigations, modern tool usage. These are concerning discipline. Now see, now I repeat, graduate attributes are incorporating what we want it. We want our student to be very good. We want them to have good knowledge, good learning, good problem solving skills, using modern tools, using IT, etc. Okay, this is one set of attributes. Second is engineer and society, environment and sustainability. What are these? These are concerning the society. That means the attributes that are designed, they are such that they are helping, that they are teaching us. The student will be aware with what is there, what is required by the society. Look at the beauty of the graduate attributes. They are summing up those things. Then we are having the graduate attributes which are concerning an individual. Which are concerning an individual. What does it mean? For example, a man, human being, should be a good citizen. He should be a good person. He should know he should know how to live with harmony in the society, and so on. So the graduate attributes which have been defined for the MBA graduate, the NBA has defined. You have defined it yourself also, which take into account the discipline, the individual, the society, and the general project management finance. Because it's concerning engineering, it's important, so they have included this also. So group GR1 is discipline, GR2 is society and environment, GR3 is individual, is general but relevant to the engineering profession. Now please see here, I want my student to imbibe these qualities. I can imbibe them, I can teach them when they are students, and that is possible with the help of curriculum. So educational learning outcomes, when I design for the course, I need to understand what are the course learning outcomes, what are the program learning outcomes. The outcomes are knowledge, that is what do students know, skill, what student can do, attitude and value, ethics, diversity, behavior, persistence, societal concern, and then the motoring and manual skills. So individual. So when these things are taken into account, the curriculum that I design takes into account these things. Now, how do I design this curriculum? Please appreciate this thing again. Designing this type of curriculum would mean we not only we prepare a syllabus, we prepare the methods of assessing them. We prepare the instructional tools of delivering them. Only then they will be there. So the course curriculum or the curriculum that we design, that's outcome-based curriculum, will be such that it will give me the lead of how to do all these things. So student learning outcomes, sometimes I also call it intended student learning outcome, provides a roadmap for the design and preparation of the curriculum. How do I prepare curriculum? Please, that's why when say outcome-based curriculum, we need to appreciate what contributes to its design. So the intended learning outcomes, the curriculum, it will help us design the curriculum, teaching and learning activities, then assessing and evaluation strategies. So student learning would be concerning with what instructional method we use, curriculum, assessment, and so on. So elements of outcome-based curriculum are the mission, how it is to be done. Then program and objectives. Now program and objectives, they are a broad statement that describe the career and professional accomplishments that the program is preparing graduates to achieve within the first 4 or 5 years after graduation. That means the OBE says that you specify beforehand, and your curriculum should meet those requirements. Then it specifies, you indicate what are the program outcomes, what are the student learning total learning outcomes, what are the course outcomes, what are delivery assessment mechanism, and continuous improvement. So these are the elements of outcome-based curriculum. So when I prepare my curriculum, I will have to meet these essentials. Only then I can say it's my OBC outcome-based curriculum. Professor Minakia, is it going all right?
Yes, sir. Perfectly all right, sir.
अच्छा ठीक है, थैंक यू. अच्छा, now
But ये
जी, no, please.
actually, yeah, the participants they will ask the question at the end, sir. But आप इतने अच्छे से explain कर रहे हैं तो मुझे लग नहीं रहा है कि कुछ questions और आएंगे.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Now, see, I mentioned outcomes. Beforehand, we have to understand what are the outcomes. Now, I said program outcomes. Now, how I designed them? Because that design will be connected with the curriculum. So, they are action-oriented statement. That is describing what to be achieved by the learner. Related to intended learning outcomes, not the process of achieving those outcomes. जैसे मैंने स्टूडेंट को पढ़ाया, पढ़ाना जो था वो एक प्रोसेस थी, लेकिन आउटकम आएगी वो ये आएगी स्टूडेंट ने उसमें क्या लर्न कर लिया है और वो डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट करने के लिए रेडी है. सपोज मैं ये चाह रहा हूँ कि स्टूडेंट शुड लर्न द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल. अब ये इम्तिहान में तो हो नहीं सकता चेक, तो ये कैसे असेस करेंगे? ये आउटकम, दैट मीन व्हेन आई वांट टू असेस द हायर थिंकिंग स्किल्स, I have to look at the characteristics. Then outcomes are measurable and they are achievable. They are not broad, just like statement. हाँ जी ये हो जाएगा, ये कर लेंगे, ये तुम learn कर लेना. Outcome-based education says your curriculum should be designed and implemented in such a way that you can demonstrate the outcome, measured outcome of this. The graduate attribute that I mentioned earlier, they help to design the program and your objectives. They help to design the program outcomes. Now, please appreciate there will be some repetition here. The repetition is for sake of completeness and indicating, connecting the link with the Bloom taxonomy. Because I had mentioned that we can embed higher thinking skills in the learning outcomes. It depends how we design that. Now, learning outcomes, they will be dependent on the curriculum. They will be dependent on this. So, program outcomes plus a statement describing about students' knowledge. Knowledge we characterize it cognitive. Skills, psychomotor, जैसे लैब में काम करना है या किसी इंस्ट्रूमेंट को यूज करना है. So, and attitude and behavior affective. Now, see, we have been lacking very, and NEP 20 specify value-based education. What is value-based education? Value-based education, how can I do this thing? How does OB help me? How can I embed the value-based teaching in my curriculum? That means my curriculum should be, if I can design a curriculum where value-based teaching and learning are emphasized. Yes, it is possible. Now, this is possible with the help of designing our learning outcomes with the help of Bloom taxonomy. I'll just mention that a little while. बट ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट जो हमने वहाँ डिसाइड किए थे कि मेरा स्टूडेंट ऐसा होना चाहिए, उसको ही शुड बी गुड लाइक इन मैनी थिंग्स एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग. सो दैट इज टेकन केयर ऑफ व्हेन आई फोकस on the student outcomes with the help of knowledge, etc. This is what graduate attributes help me. Objectives and goals of GA graduate attributes are implemented by a program outcome which can be assessed and measured. NBA uses term, in fact, there may be different opinion, but NBA uses term graduate attributes and program outcome interchangeably. But you will see that program outcomes can be measured. Graduate attributes are just statements. Not even a statement. They may be just, let's say, he should be, that's what I'm saying, he should be a bright student. Now, he's a bright student is a graduate attribute. But how he will be, how I express it, which I can measure it, will be a program outcome. So examples of, just to be illustrated, program objectives says that what students will be doing after 4 5 years. Kindly appreciate this very again important component of OBE and the curriculum. Now, you want when a student has become alumni, should he, supposing he joins the programmer, should he continue the program or should start progressing? Should he become a good human being? Should he contribute to the development of the organization? So PEOs are the objectives or the achievements or attainment of the student, which he is demonstrating after 4 5 years of his being in the real life. So if I say example of this, my student should be achiever and successful in the chosen field. I want it. Then my curriculum has to ensure that it is possible. How do I do that? I assess it by saying exhibit strong knowledge of engineering discipline and succeeds in the chosen career, maybe industry, government, or entrepreneur. This is a program as your objective. Now, this will be, we have to design a curriculum which helps to achieve this thing. Then you should be innovative, creative, and problem solver. Then that means I want it. I want that. This is intended. Please note again. Objectives are our desires, intended desires, and outcomes are our intended achievements. Repeat. Objectives, when I said go to the class, I say there, today we shall discuss a let's say, method to Newton-Raphson method to find the roots of quadratic equation. ये हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है. लेकिन जब हमने इसको डिलीवर कर दिया, उसके बाद स्टूडेंट ने हमें क्या किया, दैट विल बी आउटकम. सो व्हेन आई डिजाइन माय curriculum, then I should indicate how will I implement the effect the student has to find the roots of a quadratic equation. So I say my one student innovative, creative, problem solver. Yes, right, very good. This is a attribute. This I want my student to be. But then how will you embed it into your curriculum? So these are the things. PEOs are the objective students' achievement after 4 5 years, and these can be specified for all the programs. Please remember, wherever P comes, it's for the program. Then program outcomes. The program outcomes are statements. Please note here, these are statements which express what a student is expected to learn and demonstrate on completing the program. Program may be diploma, BTech, BA, MSc, that's what is we call as a terminal degree. This is the terminology of OBE. Now, when I say, when I say my POs will be this, then POs help to design the curriculum. Curriculum will involve syllabus. Curriculum will involve extracurricular activities. Curriculum will involve co-curricular activities. So those activities should be such which help us to achieve these POs. So set of POs which are common across set of programs like diploma, they are known as generic POs or simply POs. But then there are program specific. For example, we have an engineer. There will be a civil engineer. There will be some specific learnings. There are mechanical engineer. There will be specific learning. So the curriculum that we design for a civil engineer or for a student of MSc, they will be different. In some, the lab will be very important. Other lab may not be important. In some, the games will be important, and so on. Indicating the curriculum is decided on what are the outcomes, program outcomes that we are expecting. And these outcomes are intended outcomes. So normally, the program outcome are specified by the accreditation agency, and PS program specifics are specified by the department or institute. So when you in a curriculum, you include elective papers. Why do you include elective papers? Those are to be looked at from the program specific outcomes. So normally every program has 8 to 10 number of POs and so on. These, now I repeat, these POs have been derived keeping in view what are the GAs, graduate attributes. And those graduate attributes incorporated what the industry needs. And industry needs those competencies, skills. That's how the link is become between these things. Now here are some program outcomes for diploma level. For example, basic and discipline specific knowledge. This is the graduate attribute. When I write it down, apply knowledge of basic mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, all those things, then this becomes a program outcome. This is measurable. And I will give you another idea. Problem analysis. Problem analysis, he should be a good problem solver. So when we come in outcome, identify and analyze well-defined engineering problems, and so on. Like say lifelong learner, ability to analyze individual needs and engage in updating in the context technology. Please see here. These are the expanded format of our graduate attributes expressed as program outcomes. Program out, wherever word outcomes come, it signifies it's measurable. These things are all measurable. I want my student to be good at problem solving. I want my student to be good critical thinker. I want my student to be a good team player. So I express them as program outcomes. So when I say now, then the see, curriculum framework strategic guideline to develop academic and related practice to attain these things. Please see here. These are my outcomes. In order to achieve these outcomes, strategies and guidelines to develop academic and related practices. Academic is instructional method. This may be test, maybe your exams to enable students to gain knowledge, imbibe skills, ignite thinking processes. So when I say thinking processes, our assignments, our assessments has to be such where we challenge the student to use his mental abilities in different ways. Now, I can use it only if I give them that kind of assignments. I give them that kind of problems. I give them as that kind of projects. Now, if these projects are part of your curriculum, then he will be able to do these things. So that's how the POs and what we want are embedded into the curriculum. Elements of curriculum framework are aims and objectives, contents and subject matter, methods of implementation, assessment and evaluation, improvement mechanism. So this is what we have to ensure in the curriculum that we design. So if we look at this slide gives you guide of curriculum design using graduate attributes. Now curriculum design, program, purpose of the program, it will say that, then it will graduate attributes, those things, then its structure, teaching learning, resources, and so on. So graduate attributes are essential input into the curriculum. Now, to sum up till this is, we have discussed how the required competencies and employable skills of the industry are expressed as graduate attributes, and how outcome-based education enables us to use graduate attributes to satisfy them with the help of POs, PEOs, and so on. Please, this is how the curriculum would be meeting the requirements of outcome-based like this. When I say in design teaching objectives, see, I repeat again, curriculum is never say syllabus is a curriculum. Curriculum has instructional teaching method. The objective of a course is a specific statement of teaching intention. That is, it indicates one specific area that a teacher intends to cover, right? Then learning outcomes are what a student should know, understand. The learning activity should be, for example, lecture, lab. See, there is a learning outcome of a lab. There is a learning outcome of a lab, a learning outcome of a lecture. There is learning outcome of a module, set of lectures. So every activity has learning outcome. This is very important to appreciate. So our delivery of the curriculum, our delivery of syllabus will be such. Learning outcome must not simply wish list of what a student should be doing on completion of the activity, but an accessible outcome. Learning outcome must be simple and clearly written and described. Learning outcome must be capable of being clearly and validly assessed. So learning outcome can be for a lecture, for a course, for a module, or for a program. So here is just a slide that learning outcomes uh, can be at various levels. Now, learning outcomes at the lesson, they help us to achieve the course outcomes. Course outcomes help us to achieve the program outcomes, and program outcomes help us to achieve what are the final learning of the students in the course. How do you design learning outcome? Learning outcome, wherein what we had said, industry requirements are embedded into it. How we design that? Now, here I design it with the help of Bloom taxonomy. Learning outcome is a statement. The statement is prepared in such a way that it conveys what is the level, what is the type of learning of the student. So Bloom taxonomy is the foundation of outcome-based education, which mandates specification and assessment of intended student learning outcomes. ISLO, see, these are terminology. Basically, there are outcomes, are designed in such a way that they incorporate cognitive, affective, psychomotor, and learning aspects. Now, please hear. Our curriculum should be such that there is a holistic development of the student. That is mental, psychomotor, physical, and emotional. This is what NEP also emphasizes. This is what also our value-based education is. So, in order that we incorporate these into our student teaching learning, Bloom taxonomy gives us guidelines. Now, how to prepare curriculum which involve higher thinking skills, critical thinking, judgment, rational thinking, problem solving. How do I do that? How do I prepare curriculum which promotes these things? How to prepare curriculum which involves higher thinking skills and implement them via learning outcomes using Bloom taxonomy. So we had said outcome-based education graduate attribute takes us to the program level, program outcome level. Now, program outcome level will enable us to design the curriculum. Curriculum will give us the course outcome. Course outcome will help us to achieve the program outcome. Program outcome will help us to measurement will help us to see how much student has learned. So while defining learning outcome, focuses on the learner. These are outcome-based education is student-centric. While defining learning outcome, focus on the learner, the first year student, second year or certificate and so on. So the emphasis on the student's learner's ability to understand, do and demonstrate something. So the curriculum that we design, same thing, where quadratic question was taught in our 9th, 8th standard. It was taught in BA, it was taught in MA, it was taught in PhD also. That means, what is the learner's goal? What is the requirement? So first year, same thing we taught in first year will be done in a way where student can understand and can simply demonstrate. So not only that, the learning outcomes are designed so that they can be easily assessed. They can be easily interpreted, evaluated. They can be measured, overall improvements, which means the curriculum has to take these account of this. Here is just a say, see, a learning outcome should be measurable. It should use action verb, which I just show you what it is. This should subject content, level of achievement, condition of performance. Now, we have to write the curriculum. Now, please hear, every curriculum will use POs, will be based on POs, and the syllabus that is the component of the curriculum will have learning outcomes. And those learning outcomes are such that they are measurable. We sometimes call they should be specific to the context, they will be measurable and also achievable. Achievable ऐसा नहीं हो कि आपने ऐसा कुछ कर दिया कि वो possible ना हो, realistic and timely. It's just an example. So how are it expressed? Via statements. Outcomes are specified in terms of statements. Statement that describe what students are expected to know and be able to do on completion of any education activities, maybe lecture, maybe seminar, maybe game, and so on. Outcome include a range of knowledge. These statements can be verified. So we always say a learning outcome is a measurable, observable, specific. Now, when I say how do I write these things, then see, I use Bloom taxonomy. I use Bloom taxonomy to design the for preparing course outcomes. And Bloom taxonomy is used to prepare the syllabus. Syllabus, level of syllabus in terms of student first year, second year, third year. Now, when I say design a syllabus using Bloom taxonomy, syllabus is a part of the curriculum, very integral part of the curriculum. So, course design at a certificate level, diploma level, undergraduate level, postgraduate level, and so on. Depending on what the student of that program to learn, outcomes of that program. Now, see here. Student learning maybe it is divided. I want to use my design my curriculum to enable me to student learning which is cognitive. Now, scientific studies, neuroscience studies indicate that learning may be divided into three parts: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Cognitive is knowledge and skills. Affective is attitude and behavior. And psychomotor is manual and physical skills. तो डॉक्टर्स क्या करते हैं जो स्टेथोस्कोप यूज करते हैं हम लोग लैब में क्या करते हैं we do these things. Now please see here one thing. Outcome based education says, when I mentioned in the beginning that we need to develop all the faculties of the student. Now faculty the students are gaining knowledge, being mental and physical. So तीन component हैं physical, intellectual, mental and physical. में जो इंटेलेक्चुअल है कॉग्निटिव है स्टूडेंट नॉलेज वो हम लोग आगे बहुत ज़्यादा करते हैं और स्टूडेंट्स आर वेरी गुड और फैकल्टी इज वेरी गुड एंड एटीट्यूड एंड बिहेवियर now please here this affective domain. Now in the outcome based in the outcomes it has four components: knowledge, skill, they are cognitive. Then we have attitude and behavior, that is affective. And we have psychomotor, physical skills. Now, outcome based education says the holistic development of the student needs that we train, educate, and develop all his faculties, which are cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. When outcome based education says, and the curriculum that we design should incorporate how to train students on these things. So the Bloom taxonomy learning domains: cognitive, the mental process of knowing and understanding, like remember, understanding, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. ये आप में से काफी कुछ मालूम होगा. I will not spend time on this, because there are other things I want to look at. Then affective domain, the experience of feeling or emotion. आपको मालूम होगा आउटकम में एटीट्यूड आता है. Attitude is connected with the affective domain. Then psychomotor, the relationship between cognitive functions and physical movement, the lab, presentation, critical etc skills. Outcome में ये आ रहा था. This is we are writing outcome statement using Bloom taxonomy. In fact, जो action verbs हैं, they come from Bloom taxonomy. Bloom has given a set of verbs which we use to design our course outcomes which reflect student learning at the various levels. So we want our student to acquire, develop these skills and competencies by implementing the curriculum designed for the program. Now please see here, when I design my curriculum, why do I have a lab? Though we don't specify it, so far we have not been, indicating it clearly. Psychomotor is for labs are for psychomotor domain. See, there is always a mix. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि जो कितना these divisions are not, compartment are not tight compartments. They can overlap. When a doctor looks at the stethoscope, when he measures the blood pressure, when a hockey player plays a hockey, those are psychomotor. Now, outcome, see, when a student plays a hockey, he is very bright. He is developing another kind of attributes which nature has given him. So, outcome-based education says, take this into consideration. And how do I consider it? By embedding these things into my curriculum and expressing them as learning outcomes. Now, how do I imbibe critical thinking skills in the student? How does my curriculum get made relevant whereby student is very good in problem solving skills? Student is very good as a team player. Student is very creative, and so on. So we take the help of Bloom taxonomy. So in Bloom taxonomy, our thinking can be divided into 6 increasingly complex levels. For example, lowest level is, please, any question? Any question, please? Mr. Meenakshi, any question? Any difficulty?
सर आई एम कॉलिंग यू.
हाँ जी,
अब मैं आपको फोन कर रही हूँ सर, 1 मिनट उठाएंगे. अच्छा,
हाँ जी, कहिए.
yes sir, Vikas Singhal sir has raised the hand. Yes, Vikas sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. My one question I was thinking
sir,
about.
आप muted हैं, एक बार unmute करने.
No, unmute कर
नहीं,
दिया.
Grover sir unmuted है.
Okay. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just wanted to know that whatever pedagogies and brooms you have discussed today in a very great detail and a very good manner, can you suggest some measures for weaker and slower section students, sir?
That's precisely the purpose of using when we design my curriculum. Let us say we design a curriculum wherein for weaker student will be good in when we are teaching them at the lower levels. Remember, वहाँ भी तुम गोटा मार लेना, अच्छी तरह याद कर लेना, है ना, फिर इसको सिंपल एप्लीकेशन कर देना. तो वो जो करिकुलम होगा उसमें लोअर लेवल एम्फेसाइज होंगी. जब लोअर लेवल एम्फेसिस होगी, स्टूडेंट डजंट हैव टू पुट टू मच प्रेशर ऑन क्रिएटिव, कैसे चीजें नई क्रिएट करनी है, कैसे डिफरेंट तरीके से सोचना है, कैसे ये सब करना है, स्टूडेंट पर ये प्रेशर नहीं रहेगा। तो जब आप वो करिकुलम बनाएंगे तो उसमें हायर लेवल थिंकिंग स्किल्स को एक्सक्लूड हो जाएंगे, और जो हमारे क्वेश्चन पेपर होंगे वो भी सिंपल से क्वेश्चन पेपर होंगे।
हाँ जी सर।
वो वीकर सेक्शन के लिए हो जाता है।
सो इज इट पॉसिबल सर, हम ऐसे मतलब ऐसे सेक्शन हम डिवाइड कर सकते हैं कि वीकर के लिए हम वो चीज खाली जो रट्टाफाई वाली चीजें हैं वो ज्यादा इंक्लूड कर लें उसमें?
देखो सर, ये आपका प्रेरोगेटिव है।
ओके।
इसमें इंस्टीट्यूशन डिसाइड करता है कि मैं
Okay.
अपने स्टूडेंट को बेस्ट वे से कैसे ट्रेन कर सकता हूँ। ये प्रेरोगेटिव आपका है। आपके
नहीं,
लेटर
सर
से
सर हम
10
वो चीज
स्टूडेंट
समझ
ब्राइट
सकते
है।
हैं जो आप कह रहे हैं, दैट इज ट्रू, बट द यूनिवर्सिटी जो कैरिकुलम बताती है और जो अपने पेपर सेट करती है वो तो सारा मिक्स एंड मैच करती है।
नहीं,
तो
आप बिल्कुल ठीक है।
तो उस
इसीलिए
केस में सर वो बच्चा ड्रॉबैक पे रह जाता है, फिर वो बैक आती है बच्चों की, अगर हम स्लो लर्नर्स के हिसाब से चलते हैं तो।
मैं तो आपने बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन रेज किया है।
जी
ये चीज जो है, ये आप देखो किस कैरिकुलम की, आप देखो जब कैरिकुलम बनाते हैं,
जी सर।
कैरिकुलम असेसमेंट भी कंपोनेंट है, इंटीग्रल कंपोनेंट। जब वो असेस करेंगे तो आप जब क्वेश्चन बनाएंगे तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि स्टूडेंट जिनके लिए क्वेश्चन बना रहे हैं वो कितने अच्छे हैं कि वो रिप्लाई कर आंसर कर पाएंगे।
हाँ सर।
जो अगर आपने देखा कि वो तो आपने क्वेश्चन तो बहुत बढ़िया बना दिया, वो बच्चा वो कर नहीं पा रहा है, तो
यस।
दिस इंडिकेट्स कि आपने स्टूडेंट्स की रिक्वायरमेंट को अपने कंसिडरेशन में नहीं लिया है। अच्छा, अब आप चाहते हैं आपके दर एक तरीके का ये हुआ, मान लीजिए आपकी क्लास में 10-12 स्टूडेंट बड़े ब्राइट हैं।
जी।
उसमें क्या करते हैं, ये जो क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाते हैं वो ऑल्टरनेट बना लेते हैं। अभी आप करते हैं, लेकिन उस केस में क्या होगा कि स्टूडेंट को मालूम होगा कि ये इस क्वेश्चन का जो रिप्लाई है, आंसर है, ये बड़ा क्रिटिकल है। वो क्रिटिकल उनको लिए एड्रेस हो जाता है। तो ये जो मेथोडोलॉजी है, ये लोकल लेवल पर आपको ही रखना पड़ेगा माइंड में। लेकिन बेसिक रूल ये है कि एवरी स्टूडेंट नीड्स टू बी ट्रेन एंड ब्रॉट अप प्रॉपरली। चाहे वो वीक है तो उसको कैसे उठाना है, अगर ब्राइट है तो उसको कैसे और आगे ले जाना है। ये ओबी कहती है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इंस्टीट्यूशन और फैकल्टी की है। ये डिसीजन आप लेंगे कि मैं किस तरह के क्वेश्चन दूं ताकि बच्चों को वो चीजें जो हैं हो पाए और करके फिर दिखा पाए। देखो अभी क्या करते हैं, हमने इम्तिहान में क्वेश्चन दिया, बच्चे ने रिप्लाई कर दिया, हमने उसको 8.9 दे दिया, सॉरी 8.10 दे दिया, 6.10 दे दिया। ठीक है, आपने जब इम्तिहान किया ना, लेकिन उस बच्चे की और स्किल काफी अच्छे हैं, रिलेटेड स्किल बड़े अच्छे हैं, उसको आप कैसे करोगे। इसलिए आउटकम कैरिकुलम से कि आप इंस्ट्रक्शनल मेथड भी स्पेसिफाई करो, किस तरह पढ़ाएंगे, प्रेजेंटेशन से पढ़ाएंगे, वीडियो से पढ़ाएंगे, लेक्चर लेंगे, और साथ में आप ये भी स्पेसिफाई करो आप उसको असेस कैसे करेंगे। जब आपने ये स्पेसिफाई कर दिया, और ये चीजें जो है ना लर्निंग, ये मैं डिटेल में नहीं डिस्कस किया, जो लर्निंग आउटकम होती है ये उसमें इंडिकेट हो जाती है, जो लर्निंग आउटकम है उसमें इंडिकेट हो जाती है, और स्टूडेंट को पता होता है भी देखो मैं अगर प्रेजेंटेशन करूंगा तो मेरे इस तरह के स्किल असेस होंगे, तो पहले उसको पता है, तो आपने उसी हिसाब से उसको एडजस्ट किया। तो इसीलिए कहते हैं आउटकम बेस्ड एजुकेशन में सब कंपोनेंट आ जाते हैं, लेकिन उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करना है वो इंस्टीट्यूशन की और फैकल्टी की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है।
सर वही टिपिकल हो जाता है, क्योंकि एलओज और सीओज को मैप कराना और फिर उनकी मैपिंग पे लेके जाना व्हेन द रिजल्ट कम्स फॉर पीओज एंड ऑल, तो दैट इज रियली मेकिंग अस वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर स्पेशली फॉर मीडियोकर एंड बिलो मीडियोकर स्टूडेंट्स।
देखो विकास,
और
ये
उन्हीं की
मुश्किल
नंबरिंग
नहीं
तो
है।
ज्यादा भी है क्लासेस में।
नहीं, वे मुश्किल नहीं है। मुश्किल तब तक है जब तक हम इनसे अवेयर नहीं होते, अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करते हैं। अब देखो, जैसे ये आप जैसे स्टूडेंट, आपका इंट्रोडक्टरी लेक्चर होता है ना, किसी लोग स्टूडेंट के साथ ये शेयर कर लो। मेरा एक्सपीरियंस ये रहा है, स्टूडेंट्स आर वेरी ब्राइट, वो इसको बड़ी जल्दी समझ जाते हैं, और अगर आप एक्शन वर्ब्स का भी उसको सिग्निफिकेंस बता दें तो उसको पता लग जाएगा इसका मेरे रिप्लाई किस फॉर्म में लिखना है। ये चीजें मुश्किल नहीं है, दे नीड ओनली अवेयरनेस एंड प्रैक्टिस।
Yeah, I agree with that, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
हाँ, no, यू आर वेलकम। इट्स
Thank
अ
you,
गुड क्वेश्चन एंड आई अप्रिशिएट दिस थिंग, क्योंकि जब हम इस तरह से इशू रेज करेंगे ना तो फिर सोल्यूशन निकल आएगा।
sir. जी sir.
हाँ जी,
Thank you sir. Thank you.
हाँ जी मीनाक्षी जी।
या यस सर, मैं यही बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स से मैंने इनको दिन में भी कहा था कि अगर आपकी क्वेश्चंस और क्वेरीज हैं या आपके कोई और भी एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, ताकि वो भी शेयर करें, ताकि बाकी लोगों को भी पता चले कि अच्छा यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम हो रही है या नहीं हो रहा है कुछ।
मैंने दिस गुड अप्रोच, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए।
या
हम्म,
सो जैसे अभी सर बोल रहे थे सर, लाइक आई ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट दिस दैट the type of when the question paper is being framed, we have to take into account all the sections of the class, like 10% or 20% should be for the students those who are above a certain level, that is
हाँ
those who are better as compared to the rest of the class,
जी,
so that there can be a cut above others, and 10-20% should be for the every even the lower CGPA student, not even mediocre, usse bhi kam, so that they can also get marks, and then rest of the 60% should be mediocre. ऐसा थोड़ी सी moderation we have to keep in mind while framing the question papers. उससे फिर जब CO PO की attainment भी है, that also will not create a big problem. Otherwise आपका बहुत skewed attainment आएगा. अगर आप बहुत इजी रख दोगे तो भी, या बहुत डिफिकल्ट रख देंगे तो भी, आपका सीओ अटेनमेंट जो असेसमेंट का विद रिस्पेक्ट टू असेसमेंट वो काफी स्क्यूड आ जाएगा. तो बैलेंस के लिए पहले क्वेश्चन पेपर या टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट विच यू आर डूइंग, वो भी एक बैलेंस होना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल ठीक है। ये आप ये बता रहे हैं आप असेसमेंट। अब ये जो होगा, जो करिकुलम आपका बना हुआ होगा, जब आप बनाएंगे तो ये उसमें एक्सप्रेस हो जाएगा कि इस तरह की चीजें हम कर रहे हैं, तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली दे बिकम पार्ट ऑफ दी, दे बिकम असेसमेंट मेथोडोलॉजी एंड दे बिकम पार्ट ऑफ द करिकुलम.
Yes. So, any further questions any participant has? So, sir has given very elaborate and very related to the main topic, that how the curriculum design should be designed, or what aspects should be kept in mind while designing the curriculum. Or related to this Bloom's taxonomy, I would request Professor Grover to continue with this tomorrow at 2:30 also, so that where sir has left today, he can continue with that and relate it with the how the Bloom's taxonomy is used, or how the Bloom's taxonomy should be applied for not even the design of the curriculum, but also for designing of the question paper, designing of the assessment. Everywhere we look forward to the higher order thinking skills and lower order thinking skills. So with this, I would like to thank Dr. Grover for such a nice session and such a elaborate, detailed presentation which sir has given. So thank you so very much, sir. And I really look forward for the tomorrow session also.
Right, that is tomorrow at 2:30.
Tomorrow at 2:30. So we can continue with this further, so that it can be related also.
अच्छा,
Thank
नहीं
you.
तो ठीक है, मतलब हम लोग वो ब्लूम टैक्सोनॉमी को और डिटेल में डिस्कस कर लेंगे,
हाँ जी सर.
है ना. ब्लूम टैक्सोनॉमी और डिटेल में डिस्कस, ब्लूम टैक्सोनॉमी एंड डिजाइन ऑफ लर्निंग आउटकम्स,
Learning outcomes. Yes.
ठीक है ना, तो उसमें सारा ये कर लेंगे.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
थैंक यू प्रोफेसर
Yes, sir.
मीनाक्षी, सिंगल विकास सिंगल.
Hello,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
We are from Danekla Engineering College, Vijayawada.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, Andhra Pradesh. Nicely presentation, madam. But I would like to ask some questions regarding this COs, POs. There is a gap. Is there any standard methodology to prepare for COs, madam?
I think we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow I will discuss Bloom taxonomy and design of learning outcomes.
Yes, sir.
How to design them.
And curriculum gaps also, sir.
And curricular gap also.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. So thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you,
And,
Mr. Meenakshi.